Hi there, if anyone is with me at the moment, just to let you know, we'll start in about 10 minutes. So at 8:30 UK time, if you're with me from New Zealand, it'll be about 7:30. And you might have a cushion close by, you might have your yoga block. This isn't essential, but perhaps a cushion and a blanket will be nice. Okay, we'll see you soon. Apologies if you have been watching for a while and waiting for me to get things organised. I haven't set up this way before, so slowly getting there. If you have just tuned in, welcome. We have a cushion that might be, I've got a cushion with me, sorry, that might be handy for your practice. It's not essential. If you have a yoga block, sometimes that's really nice just to have close by. Again, not essential. So grab whatever you need. It might be nice to have a blanket towards the end of the practice too. I'm not being rude, but I will just pop the link into one of my groups just to let people know that we're here. Are you there? May have also noticed that I put the date as the 10th of June. I'm in the UK at the moment, and lockdown is only really pretty much from last night starting to ease properly, or from last week. So days, dates, time, months are all kind of merged into one at the moment. I'm sure you'll agree if you're over this side of the world as well. All right, just a couple more minutes. If you're interested about these live classes, I'll be popping on to offer a few. I'll try and get on here once a week, maybe a little bit more, just depending on the timetable. Just offering practice, whether it be more a yin or yin yang, when I can. And I will let you know. And if you haven't subscribed already to our channel, then it might be useful to do that, just so that you can be notified of when these classes might happen. Otherwise, on Facebook, there is a group called Mindful Movement with Jem, and you can also tune in there, and there's a lot of information of any classes and events that will be taking place. I usually have Paul with me on guitar, but because of the sound, and we can't quite use our external microphones, we thought that we would keep it a nice quiet space for us to practice. If you do wish to go for a practice with live music, again on our channel, you'll notice there's a few full classes and some mini practices where we combine both. Okay, well, it's 8:30, so I'm going to begin. If you're with me, welcome, thank you so much. If you're catching up on this on replay, welcome, enjoy. Today we have a few shapes that we'll move gently in and spend a little bit of time with or in that experience. And we're doing that so that we can spend some time with the fascia in our body, so the webbing in our body, and especially the thicker layers of webbing that kind of are around our joints that keep things attached, enabled us to move and use these limbs. But today there is another focus, and I want to work with one of the major nerves, our vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve that kind of works with parasympathetic nervous system. So looking to try and help us. If you've just been through your day, this will be beautiful for helping you sort of tune out of all that doing and all that yang and come into more of a state of being, winding down for your sleep. But in saying that, if you're joining me this morning, wonderful. It's a beautiful time of day to practice yin. I often thought I'd keep it towards the end of the day, but over the last few months, I've been teaching and practicing in the morning and have noticed that it has really set me up for the next 24 hours that I walk through. It's giving me myself a little bit more kind of time and ease and patience and being able to respond more gently than I might do if I kind of woke up and got straight into the thick of things. So we're working with the vagus nerve. We're going to help us move into parasympathetic nervous system. We're looking for a little bit of rest. We're helping this body digest and recover. And who knows, maybe you're aware or unaware of what it is that may require a little bit of healing, perhaps, whether it be through the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, the even more subtle layers. So see what is here for you. There's no expectation whatsoever. I'm just going to offer a few shapes. And if you wish to take them, cool. You can take as much or as less, whatever you need from whatever comes up as we move through. So we will start by finding a comfortable sitting position or lying down, doesn't matter, but a place where you can remain still and bring the eyes in. When I say bring the eyes in, it might just be a soft gaze. Or you might be able to close the eyes and imagine now looking back in to this inner reality, this inner landscape, this wilderness that exists. And as you find the stillness, you notice the weight in your body kind of travel down towards the lower portion. More weight in the pelvis, maybe the outer legs, the knees. And when you feel that weight and that kind of firming pressure underneath your seat, the support of the floor, and you receive that feedback, can you gently press into that and perhaps notice now a lightness through the top of the body or space for your heart to rise into? Maybe space becomes available across the collarbone. Maybe if you lengthen through the neck, there's more space there between the ears and the shoulders. And just watching your breath. No effort required, just watching when it decides to move into the body and when it decides to leave. You might even imagine this nerve starting at the brain stem, traveling all the way down towards the stomach. And these little branches that come off from there. So little branches around the eyes and the throat, and the mouth, around the neck. And then again around the lungs and the heart. And then again around these belly organs. My intention is to work with these areas of the body as well today. We'll come back to the eyes, but if we think about the throat, then how can we start to activate around this area or tone this nerve? When I say tone, making it more responsive, helping us to shift out of fight and flight into rest and digest. So we could deepen our breath. And let's try that by breathing in for the count of 4 in through the nose. And let's breathe out for the count of 4 again when you're ready. Breathing in this time for the count of 5. Imagine breathing right in through the front of the throat, perhaps. Feel how the lungs and the belly inflate. Pause at the top before you breathe out for the count of 5. Notice how your body kind of softens, maybe contracts slightly. We're going to keep the count of 5 to breathe in. Can you see the inflation through the belly, the lungs, around the throat? See how you feel about breathing out now for the count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's a pause at the end before you breathe in again for the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the top. Exhale for either 6 or 7. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue in your own time. So maybe it is a count of 5 for breathing in. You might start to shorten that if it feels uncomfortable, or even lengthen it. Your exhale might match that count or be 1 or 2 counts slightly longer. And as you breathe in on that next breath in, imagine it starting at the base of your torso. So as you breathe in, you notice how it passes through the tummy, that inflates, expands, maybe some more space around the heart and lungs, and again around the chest and the throat, maybe even feeling that right to the top of the crown of the head. Then as you exhale, can you imagine this breath now moving down through the back of your body, meeting where you once were at the bottom of the torso, tailbone. Breathing in through the front of the body. So it creates this kind of circular breath, almost oval breath. And just here for another 2 counts. Or 2 rounds. We're just keeping the eyes closed. Let's bring our hands together at heart space. So the hands just helping us find center again. You might even bring one palm now on top of the heart, the other hand on top of that. Feeling a connection here through the heart and perhaps the branches that surround it. Maybe breathing into your hands. And there is this opportunity to create the sound of Om with me. So again, we're thinking about the throat, then chanting or creating a vibration here. It might be singing, speaking. All of this is going to help activate through this vagus nerve. So if you wish to do this with me, you might just stay in your silence, perfect. If you wish to do this with me, I'm going to take a full breath in, a full breath out, and then prepare on the inhale and breathe out on the, say Om, or chant the sound of Om on the exhale. Okay, so if you're with me, let's take a big breath in, a big breath out, another breath in to prepare. Another breath after. Just noticing how the throat might feel if you move through that sound of Om. Great. And fluttering the eyes open. Let's bring our hands onto our shoulders. We're just going to create a bit of space around the shoulders and neck. So let's take the elbows forward, up towards the sky, back and around. Do this a couple more times. Lovely. And then you might try in the opposite direction. So elbows move up, out, and around. Just noticing any clicks. I've got quite a few happening in the shoulders right now. Noticing any clicks or sticky parts around the shoulders. I'm just looking for a sense of fluidity where we can. It might just be through the breath. Cool. Releasing your hands. So what you'll see, and I should have said this at the beginning actually, I've kind of shifted close to the wall. If you have a bit of wall space in your room and you've got the time to shimmy your mat towards that, it might be up against the door. Perfect. Take the time to do that. And I'll shimmy over and give you a demo of where we're heading. So I'm close to the wall. I'm going to take, I've got my left hand here, and I'm just going to place this on the wall. It might be your right, it really doesn't matter. But we'll begin by lining up your elbow with your shoulder-ish, okay? And then you might be able to pour a bit of weight in towards the wall or towards your arm. So just enough weight that you start to feel this kind of twinge or slight firing up of the muscles around your shoulder, perhaps. And we're going to open a little bit through the chest, okay? So this might be more than enough. You might feel that you can slide your arm a little bit higher and still pour your weight in. You might feel that now through the back of the shoulder. And then another option is to shimmy around again. So taking your legs, not necessarily 90 degrees, but somewhere in between, so about 45 degrees away from the wall. Still pouring your weight towards your arm, towards this support, but now starting to feel an opening of the fascia, the tissue around the front of the shoulder head. You might even feel that spread down through the sides of the ribs or around the neck. Just here for around 5 rounds of breath. You're welcome to play with that slightly longer exhale. Might just be a natural rhythm. Just seeing if you can slow it down gently. Maybe rest for a little bit longer between the pause or in the pause between the breath. We're here forever, but can you drop into the moments that we are here for? Be aware of the supports and leaning into that if you wish. Great. Then there's an option to stay here. This is perfect. Or take your spare hand now, take it to your opposite knee. And then your other hand can slide away from the wall and find a little bit of space behind you so that your arms are encouraging your chest and your gaze to come around into a twist here. And then we'll keep the chest and torso where it is, but bring your eyes back around to the front shoulder. Now your eyes are going to move back again towards the opposite side of the room, keeping your chin where it is. So we're just getting into those branches around the eyes. I apologise if this looks a little scary. Hopefully you're concentrating on your own gaze. And then you might just tip your head back gently. So right ear just falls back a touch. Eyes still in that position. Nice wee compression at the back of the neck. It's helping to drain. Can get a bit clogged up here with some of the major blood vessels, nerves, and the lymph nodes. Great, bringing your head back so you're facing forward, and then we can unravel. Take a moment here, big breath. And then the arms are going to come towards the sky. Sweeping your right arm underneath your left. Elbows bend. You might be able to bring your hands together. You might bring your hands to your shoulders. That's fine. All I want you to do is let the elbows kind of come in towards your lungs. So there's a little compression there. And as you breathe in, trying to breathe towards that compression and perhaps noticing the back of the body open gently. Being aware of how the shoulder blades might move with each breath. Taking your time. Maybe staying here or taking your elbows away from you now. A little bit of engagement to take your arms up. And you might feel that space that opens up between the shoulder blades, that really muscular part of the body, very protective. It does an awesome job. It can sometimes restrict us a little bit, not only through the breath, but perhaps through the emotional body, physical body. Great, and then releasing your arms, letting your palms face up on your knees. They rest gently, fingers are soft. Closing your eyes. See if you can see where your shoulders are in space, even with your eyes closed. So just getting a sense of how high one shoulder might be compared to the other. Or perhaps get a sense of space. How much space do you have between your ears and your shoulders on one side compared to the other? The arm that you've been working with, softening, allowing that energy to trickle from the shoulder all the way down to the elbow, out through the palm and the fingertips. Picking up this silence for another 3 breaths. Opening your eyes when you're ready, and we'll do the other side. So excuse me while I turn. I don't like to turn my back on anyone, but just so I can set this up for you, we're taking now opposite arm to the wall so that the elbow is roughly in line with the shoulder, roughly. Sitting at a comfortable distance where you feel that you can kind of lean into the wall and here long enough so that you feel the muscles around that shoulder turn on. It might just be a little twitch, it might be slight fatigue there. And then you might be able to slowly slide up the wall, taking your elbow a little bit higher. Even with your elbow raised, again, a slight lean. And the breath is going to help create the space we're looking for across the chest. So you're welcome to stay here. I want the breath to take priority and feel that you've got heaps of space to breathe. Or explore with taking your legs slightly further away. So if you've got your arm at the wall, you're moving away from the wall, about 40, 45 degrees. You might even feel the heart move through the chest slightly. Trying to keep the neck and the jaw soft and the skin around your eyes and your eyebrows. By doing so, you'll create more space for the breath. Even though sensation is present, how can we rest here? Through your arm, you have 3 major energetic lines, channels, 3 meridian lines that help with the flow of energy, connected to the heart, pericardium, lungs. So we're just stimulating here, bringing blood to the surface, perhaps gently opening to let that energy flow freely so it doesn't get stuck or clogged or blocked. You can often manifest in physical symptoms. You might also notice it through the emotional body and the mental body. Is that slow, deeper breath if it's available for one more round. Cool, so your spare hand will come to opposite knee. You'll take that arm off the wall, place it behind you. Look forward to start with, find a nice long spine. Give that arm plenty of time for the blood and energy, that warmth to trickle down to the length of your arm. And then we'll take a little twist. Why buzzing around? Take a little twist. Inhale to lengthen, maybe exhale, twist again. Take the gaze right behind you to start with. And then keep your body where it is, but let's just bring our chin towards the front shoulder. Let it hover. You could stay here or just tip your head back towards that side of your body. And your eyes, let's not forget them, they're going in the opposite direction, so towards your spare hand on your knee. If your neck isn't comfortable at this angle, come back into an upright position. You're wanting to compress the part of your neck that is kind of just behind your ear. You feel a stretch perhaps through the other side. Enough to drain and break up any frozen energy that's here through the neck. You might feel a slight popping in your ears. And then bringing your head into an upright position. Gaze stays forward, and we can slowly unravel. Cool. Taking your arms up towards the sky, let the shoulders melt, let the armpits get heavy for a moment. So feel the spine come back into a nice neutral place. And then we can sweep. So the arm you've just used, that stays high, sweeping the other arm below it. Maybe palms come together, backs of the hands, hands to shoulders, whatever works. Our focus is to let the elbows rest on the chest here and create that recompression. Your eyes could be closed, they might be through your hands. Recompression, allowing us to spend time with the heart space. And there's an offering here for it to digest everything it has received today. The pericardium, which is like the protector around the heart, absorbs our reactions, the emotions that might come with it, from everything that we receive in the life around us. And then decides on what the heart can handle in those moments. It's compression, almost like a nice offering to the pericardium, just to let go of what it's holding on to, a way to protect this heart. As we digest, a moment to acknowledge how this heart feels. Maybe even reaching out with the in-breath. And there could be a smile, or a moment of compassion or understanding or patience with the exhale. Just like you would with an old friend. Great. Staying here, we're taking your elbows forward and maybe high. Breathing into the space between your hearts or between your shoulder blades. Another round of breath, maybe a slightly longer exhale. Amazing, and then slowly release your arms. Palms face up, maybe closing the eyes or soft gaze. Again, now noticing how level your shoulders might feel in comparison to a few moments ago. 3 breaths in silence. Cool, and then opening your eyes when you're ready. Taking your hands just behind your ears, so that bony part you can feel. You just bring your hands a little bit further down through that fleshy part, you can see around here. And just using a little bit of pressure to massage gently. Might be in a circular motion, it might just be moving up and down that area. So a really quick and simple way of contacting this nerve and giving ourselves this opportunity just to pause for a moment and shift out of that fight flight that we spend a lot of our day in. Place where we can react quickly and respond That response might not always be something we're aware of. It might be a pattern that we get kind of stuck in. It might not always be helpful to the people around us or to ourselves. And this just helps us slow down and give us space between the stimulus and the response. So we get to choose. We respond to whatever is happening around us. Essential to let this body recover. Great. Taking your hands away, let's move now onto our mat. Come in to lie down on your mat. And I've got my feet towards the wall end. I'm going to use the wall again, maybe, in a bit. But just lying onto your front with your elbows on your mat. They're just ahead of your shoulder heads. We're just going to let the body weight move towards the front seam of the body now. So you might just let the tops of the feet be nice and flat. Maybe the heels move out slightly, feet slightly apart. If this is too much for lower back, because it can be, take the arms slightly further forward, maybe slightly wider. Or even stack your hands and let your head rest on your front. Just shifting the weight of our body now towards the front seam and offering a nice wee compression around the kidneys. Kidneys a bit like our battery pack. A gentle release of this essential energy that lives there. Pausing so that energy can reach the parts that might feel a little depleted. Opportunity to recover, to heal, to absorb. Softening the eyes, maybe even closing them. We'll rest in our silence for another 5 breaths. You soften through the buttocks and let more weight pour towards the pelvis, towards the belly, towards the front of your legs, towards your elbows. The shoulders relax away from your ears. Let your tongue relax in the bottom half of your mouth. Be aware of where that compression is down your spine. And with the next 2 rounds of breath, just seeing if you can breathe in towards that compression. Feel the space that opens up. And then maybe on the longer, slower exhale, see if you can relax a little bit more towards your mat. Just feel that opening now towards the liver and the organs, our belly. Looking with those branches, seeing if you can breathe into that space. Wonderful. Then we'll come into rebound, so we give our body a chance to respond. So coming down to lie down on your front if that's comfortable, stacking your hands and your chin or forehead rest, or come to lie on your back. You might be able to send the breath now back into where we notice that compression. And as we come out of that compression, hopefully there's this beautiful rush of blood and energy towards that part of our body. If you're on your front, you'll feel the compression through the belly. Just using the breath to help massage around those organs that live there. Brilliant. Choosing to stay, this is perfect. If you want to hang out here a bit longer, amazing, go for it. Otherwise, we can bring our hands underneath the shoulders, press yourself up into tabletop position, and then turn, feet still towards the wall, but you come to sit on your mat. And up to you. I'm going to take my legs up long. You might feel that you want to cross your legs, you might even bring the soles of your feet together. Our intention is to fold in a little bit around the belly. So what I've got is my cushion. I'm just going to fold it in half so it gives me a bit more height underneath those knees. Have my toes facing up. I'm just going to move a bit of flesh away from the sitting bones and then press down through my sitting bones to feel that gorgeous spine, that lovely S-bend that lives there. And then my hands can be down beside me. Press down through the fingertips, find a little bit more legs again. Before starting to hinge at your hips and the spine stays long, the heart's still moving forward. Maybe your hands come a little bit further forward. Staying here, or slowly allowing the chin to come towards the chest and feel that slight rounding of the spine. The gaze come down, maybe even close the eyes, come in. Being aware of sensations might be really present. You might feel that it's not really doing much at all. Perfect. I want you to see if you can stay with the reality of whatever is here for you. Notice if there is a craving for something more. Whether there is a contraction away from something that is slightly uncomfortable. If it's painful, come out. If it's painful, come up into a sitting position. Looking for a place of neutral. Just here for 5 rounds of breath. Maybe that deeper, slower breath, longer exhale. It's not always the physical experience that gives us something to practice with in terms of finding that neutral place. Think about this forward fold and what it's asking us to do physically, literally turn in. then that also translates through the emotional, mental body. And spending time in this body can be confronting. We know that. Spending a lot of our lives being drawn out. Maybe even in avoidance, maybe. I know that I do. So there is this deeper practice again. Be able to sit with this reality. Where it feels like there is much here or not much at all. Can we settle in for another round of breath? Cool. All right, let's walk our hands a little bit further up the length of your legs towards your hips. We can take this cushion away, but maybe keep it close. Our last shape is, there's an option here. So the first option is to lie on your mat with your knees together and your feet out towards the edges of your mat, maybe with your arms overhead. The other option is to come nice and close to the wall, bringing one of your hips really close. Now, I apologize now for how ungraceful this might look. But what I'll do is just lean down and swing around so that my feet are on the wall. And then I can kind of shimmy myself a little bit closer in. That may or may not be easy. It's not that easy for this body today. Okay, so legs up the wall. Another awesome way to help us work with this nerve and to help us move into parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so it could be heels. You might even bend your knees and just let your thighs kind of rest in your hands. Use your arms as a bit of support. You might want to bring the soles of the feet together. Again, I'm a little bit further away, so you could bring yourself a bit closer in. Other option, lots of options today, is to take your cushion and maybe place it underneath your pelvis. And that's just going to give you a very slight inversion here, just lifting pelvis a little bit higher than your heart. If you're in the middle of the room, that option is available too. And then you might just bring your knees apart if you're in the middle of the room and have your feet hip width distance. So again, choose a place for the arms, closing the eyes or softening your gaze. Feel that river of energy running from the soles of your feet all the way down through your legs, pulling around the pelvis before trickling through the length of the spine. This little river of the spine here that flows towards the throat. The brain gets to absorb all the nutrients and goodness here. And feeling the energy then move out through the crown of the head and connecting you to the space around you, to the wonder and the mystery that's here, to all the things we know and everything else we don't know. As you drop in, we're creating this space to rest, digest, recover or heal. And seeing if we can step out of our own way, rather than trying to figure out what it is we need to rest, digest or heal. And see if we can just trust this body's wisdom for it to do the work for us. We're just holding space. Let's find this quiet space. And you lengthen the exhales for the next 3 rounds of breath. You might even imagine that circular breath once again. It might even start at the feet as you breathe in, right down through the length of the front of the body. To the crown of the head, there's a pause, and then as you exhale, feel it move down and up through the back of the body. After that third round of breath, you'll know where you want to be. You'll know that whether you want to stay exactly where you are. If so, feel free. If you feel that you can shuffle in a little closer to the wall again, you're more than welcome. Maybe change positions of the legs. We're heading towards the end of our practice. We're heading towards Shavasana. So I am going to leave legs up the wall as one of those options. If not, then just gently bring the knees in towards you, roll over onto your sides. Take a moment here before finding your mat again and coming to lie on your back. If you're in the middle of the room and you took this option of knees bent, start to straighten the legs, maybe take your prop away if it's there. Great. So if you've taken this lying down option, then feet can move slightly apart, your toes can fall out, your palms can face up. The outer shoulders, just press down through the head slightly and let the outer shoulders roll out before allowing the shoulder blades to settle. You might feel the warmth or the fuzziness, the soles of the feet, maybe in the hands. A place where we can receive and also kind of create a drain for any stale or stagnant energy. The eyes soften, the bones get even heavier. And as you allow your body to be supported by the earth, is there room to drop in again without having to move? But to tune out from that last ounce of doing or yang into just being here. Maybe even feeling the hands or the arms of Mother Earth cradle you. And the front of your body softening with every breath towards the life that surrounds you. Maybe even feel like you're drinking that breath in on the inhale. It might be absorbed in through the nose, the throat. You might feel it come through the whole of that front side of your body. The quality of presence that is around you merging with the quality of presence that is within you. And that pause, let that magic happen. Let yourself be immersed in that. This union. And then on an exhale, we're offering a piece of us back out into the space around you. And you get to choose whether that offering is of what you wish to let go of, to no longer bear the weight of. Perhaps there's an energy or part of you that wants to share your energy, to be of support for this body, essentially, primarily. And then if there's enough, maybe reaching out to those you love and adore. Maybe those that need a little bit of love, support. Making sure that you are held and have everything you need first. This powerful silence, may you rest, digest, recover, or heal. Perhaps giving a breath of gratitude, not only towards this body, but towards yourself, giving yourself this time, carving it out of your day. Creating this opportunity for you to make yourself a priority and to recognize that in your needs that are non-negotiable. In order to show up and be everything you are and wish to be. May this practice be a gentle reminder of giving yourself time when you can. Perhaps it's gentle breath, maybe a slow, deeper breath. Perhaps it's a slight opening through the chest, maybe an opening or folding or twisting through the belly. Maybe an opportunity to sing. Maybe to use your healing hands to rub or soothe. Soften the space around your eyes. Anything that you choose, knowing that it will help you bring yourself into this state. From my heart to yours, thank you so much for being here. Please feel that you can stay in this rest for as long as you wish. I'll stick around. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them up on the chat board. Otherwise, until next time, take care, look after yourself. Namaste.